It's Lori. How are you? Hey, I'm not having the greatest of mornings. I just got in this car that I know has bad brakes, but my other car that I thought was so great, I just found out that the heads are bad in it. So I did call the dealer, and he's going to work out something with me. So praise God for that. And hopefully I'll have a decent running car today. But I went to go out, and I went down this hill, and no brakes, absolutely no brakes. I put on the e-brake, and I had it in the lowest gear, and I still couldn't make the stop sign. Wow, okay. But I wanted to talk to you today about our loved ones communicating with us, and why sometimes people seem to get all kinds of communication and why sometimes people don't. I don't want you to think that if your loved one hasn't given you, all kinds of signs that they're okay, that your loved one doesn't care about you. The other world is just that. It's another world. And I mean, it's just as real, more real than this world. So, and there are rules to follow, and I think it goes on an individual basis, because there's no real rhyme or reason that I can figure out, because I have known people that have crossed less than 24 hours and have given signs. I have known people that may not, according to our standards, have been in the best place when they left, but they've given signs. I've known people that have been, by our standards, absolute angels when they left and have not given signs. I've known people that are extremely close and haven't heard anything, and then people that weren't so close and they get messages. So I don't think there's any real rhyme or reason to it. I think there are rules, there are laws, just like we have the laws of physics here. We have the laws like gravity. We have the spiritual laws, like we've talked about before. There are also laws over there. So I don't want you to think, hey, they haven't contacted me, they don't love me, or whatever. Don't think that at all. Also, another thing that people think is that maybe they're not in a position, they're in a bad place or whatever. Try not to think that either, because you know what? We can't just assume that. If your loved one has come through to you, usually you'll get something like a smell. Our sense of smell is one of our strongest senses, so they use that a lot. You may have a dream. You may hear a song just at that right perfect time. Those are all signs. I think a lot of people are expecting something really big too. So a little bit of it is us and our expectations. A little bit of it is maybe whatever's going on with them. They're unavailable to bring messages to us. But please don't take it like they don't love you. Okay? What I was talking about is, how do you know if your loved one is around? What kind of signs do you know that it's them? So the veil is getting thinner. If you've noticed, there's differences. Have you looked up at the sky recently? It looks a little bit different. Most people, even if they're not into anything spiritual or supernatural, they can tell you that the sky looks a little bit different. Or the sun looks a little different. The veil between realities, between the worlds, is getting thinner. Now, why that is, I'm not sure, but people are experiencing psychic phenomena. They're experiencing contact messages, maybe even people who never had anything like this before. So why is that? Why is that happening? I'm not sure why the veil is getting thinner. I have some theories on it, but I'm not going to get into that. But there are certain signs where you know that your loved one's around, like smell. Sometimes you can really smell it. You know how people have their own smell? Sometimes you can smell that smell. Sometimes, if somebody smokes cigarettes and you don't smoke cigarettes, you'll get a heavy whiff of cigarettes or cigars or pipes, or maybe their special perfume. Another thing is signs. Wonder, like on the radio, this certain song keeps playing. Sometimes you get dreams about them. Those are all the common ones. Now, why do some people get messages while others don't? Well, I think it's really individual. I think it depends on the person. I know, or, there are rules. There are rules to
every realm, right? I mean, we know the rules here. We know that there are certain rules and we don't question them. For instance, when a child is being born into this world and it's in the mother's womb, we know that we don't have direct contact. I mean, we do play music now. We have all these different things that we, talk to the baby and that sort of thing. But we don't expect communication back. I mean, they do kick, they do give us signs. We know that they're there, but we know that there's no direct communication. And we just take it at face value. We know that it's for that child's safety, that they are protected in the amniotic fluid. Sorry about that. And we know that they need to be in the womb for a certain amount of time, and we don't question it. Even when they come into this reality, they can only, when we communicate with them, say you have a 2-year-old, and your 2-year-old asks you a question about how cars work. You can only explain to the point of their ability to comprehend. So you can't start talking about, excuse me, carburetors and radiators and brakes. And, you can talk in terms that they can understand. You might be able to bring up the brakes. You might be able to bring up the steering wheel. You might be able to even bring up the motor, but you don't want to get into intricate detail about how the motor works because they're not going to comprehend it. So in the same way, our loved ones can only communicate with us to the ability that we're able to understand and comprehend. So what I would suggest to you, and that's just the way it is, right? We just accept that. Well, it's the same thing over there. When people cross over, it's immediately like being home. It's going to be a familiar feeling. And the feeling of here, it's not that we forget our loved ones or whatever. The feeling of here becomes more and more foreign to us. Less comfortable. Yes, we've been there. Kind of like if you've gone on vacation. Say you've gone to Europe, but you're from the U.S. And you've even spent maybe, a couple of years over there or even 20 years over there, but your home is the U.S. When you first get back to the U.S., it's going to feel a little foreign to you, but it's still home. You feel it comfortable. You feel, your family's here. This is home. But it's still a little kind of weird to you, right? But the longer you stay in the U.S., the more and more and more you let go. And you don't forget, but you let go of Europe and you maybe forget how they do things over there. So it's the same kind of thing. There are certain laws in place in the other realm that we don't know about yet, and we won't know about until we get there. So if your loved one is not communicating, don't take it like they don't want to talk to you or that they're angry at you. Just like you would a child in the womb. Know that it's happening for a reason. Stay open and welcome for those communications. Talk to them like you would the baby in the womb, knowing that they can hear you. Okay? And just be patient and wait. The other thing is be very accepting of whatever it is. If a baby kicks through the mother's womb and we feel that kick, we are ecstatic about that. But if we get a small sign from our loved one who's crossed over, maybe the smell of something wonderful they used to cook or whatever it is, or a song on the radio, and we go, well, that's not enough. The more open you are to the signs that you get, the more you're going to receive more and more and more signs. So just be open. I'm going to talk more on this subject, but this is just kind of an introductory. I hope it helped you a little bit. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below or email me or message me on Facebook. It's Facebook.com/GraceByHim1, I think. Look up Light Insights on Facebook. I'm sorry, I don't remember this stuff, but it's Grace by Him1, I think. All right. You guys have a great day, and I'm going to be posting more videos, so stay tuned. Subscribe. All right. Thanks.